and welcome. I'm Wolfgang Riebe and these are my quick tips. Today I want to speak to you about greatness which is within you. Do you know that as I look back on the last year and question what life lessons I've learned, I realize that as I get older, life is not as complicated as we like to make it out to be. The main lesson I've learned is that we all have greatness within us. It's just that most people have been so negatively conditioned and indoctrinated that they don't realize their full potential or their greatness. You see, I truly believe each and every one of us can be great and that we're all the same. So what's your excuse? Hence, I wanted to share with you some tips to find the greatness within yourself so that you can grow to your full potential and reach your dreams. Now, have you ever asked yourself why two identical people lead two completely different life paths? They have the same background, they've grown up in the same area, they have the same qualifications, yet one is successful and content and the other is unhappy and poor. You see, there are a number of reasons people lose belief in themselves, and today I want to identify 3 of them. It's kind of like going to the doctor. Only once he's diagnosed the problem can he offer the solution. Let's look at the possible problems. You are on the wrong life path. A question: are you internally happy and content? In other words, when you go to sleep at night, do you do so peacefully? And when you wake up in the morning, do you look forward to the day? Yes, another day? Or what about your work? Do you enjoy going to work? Sadly, for most people, the answer is no to these questions. And hence, they actually never discover their greatness. So what is the answer? Well, let me give you an example. The other day I was at the waterfront and I saw some seals in the harbor. In fact, there was this huge seal sunning itself on the harbor wall. I remember looking at it and immediately thinking to myself, what an ugly animal! What on earth could the purpose be of this huge lump of fat? I mean, talk about when people speak about falling out of the ugly tree. This thing must have hit every branch on the way down. You know, people say that if you're ugly, you were last in line when the Creator handed out looks and talent. Heck, all that was left was a big piece of fat with 6 hairs and had 3 whiskers on each side. Huh? This is what I thought as I looked at that seal. Lazing, sunning itself, really makes sense. But then suddenly the seal slid into the water and I saw a totally new animal. It swam expertly. It maneuvered itself like nothing I'd ever seen before. In fact, when it comes to greatness, this seal had found its mark. It was doing what it was designed and meant to do. You see, this started to make me think about us humans and how we live false lives and never find our purpose. Realistically, if I look at that seal and send it to a university to become an electrical engineer, do you think it would ever become one? Even after 10 years of study? Why not? Because that's not its purpose in life. That seal will never find its greatness if it follows the wrong path. Now let's look at your life. Are you that seal following your purpose, or have you let family, friends, and society dictate what path you must follow? You see, we all need to be honest with ourselves and authentically look deep inside within and ask, what is it that makes me tick? What is it that gives me a reason to stand up in the morning? And when you honestly answer those questions and follow through with them, only then do you tap into the greatness within you. Whether you want to be a doctor or a street sweeper, it's totally irrelevant. As long as you follow your true purpose, greatness will follow you. When writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Remember that when you stop chasing the wrong things, that is when you give the right things a chance to catch you. The second reason many people have not tapped into their greatness is a lack of belief in the self. Sadly, we live in a society that is controlled by fear. Our entire educational system teaches that failure is bad. Hence, we become scared of failing. Our parents, our teachers, our friends are all part of this ridiculous fear, and often the ones that are reinforcing it by reacting negatively to all your dreams and desires. That's pretty messed up, huh? You know my favorite quotation in life, and it always will be? It's by a chap called Thomas Edison. Does the name ring a bell? He said, I've not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. Isn't that amazing? Makes you think, huh? You see, as human beings, we can only learn from failure. It's just that we mustn't be scared of making mistakes. Remember, fear is just an illusion. It doesn't exist. Society created it within you. It's all in your mind. You need to throw it out and go for the gaps out there. Only then will you start discovering the greatness within you. Remember, if you put a small value on yourself, rest assured, the world ain't going to raise your price either. You need to know your worth. You can only do this by believing in yourself and following through with every opportunity that is out there. And don't forget that you were born to make mistakes, not fake perfection, as the rest of the world would like you to believe. Makes you think, huh? You see, of course, some people argue that they never had or have the opportunity to implement this philosophy, as opportunity never comes their way. You see, the problem is a lack of honesty with the self. Because when opportunity does knock on their door, by the time they've walked down the stairs, looked through the peephole, unlocked the raw bolt, pulled back the chain, turned the key to finally unlock the door, guess what? The opportunity has already left. Know what greatness you have within you, and you will jump at every opportunity without hesitation and without unlocking hundreds of locks. Think about that. And finally, the most ridiculous excuse of them all: I come from a historically disadvantaged background. All I'm going to say is WTF. You are kidding me. Yes, in the last 3 weeks, I've met 4 people that have actually said this to me. I wish I had a camera on my face every time I heard this, because the look on my face, I would like to see it, because it's definitely going to be priceless. Without a doubt, in my mind, this is the most lame, yet most alarmingly popular excuse of the 21st century. You know what? I blame world leaders, politicians, and personalities for this outlook. Have you ever seen a politician or famous celebrity take responsibility for a bad decision or action? Seriously, think about this. The world has slowly been conditioned to play the blame game. This is now considered to be politically correct. You know, it was the local vicar's fault. No, it was my teacher's fault. No, actually, if I think about it, it was my parents' fault. In fact, the more I think about it, it was my best friend at school's fault because they always undermined me. No, sorry, it can't be that either. Or it was the previous government's fault because they took everything away from my ancestors. Now I have nothing. No, we can go back even further. It was the British, the Spanish, the Dutch, no, the Portuguese explorers' fault, because they left Europe to discover the whole world, and they created all this inequality we live in today. You see, because of what happened in history, you owe me today. What are you smoking? I can't believe people think like that. Let's backtrack for a moment. You come into this world alone, and you leave alone. However, we are all special, and we are all born with our own unique talents. It is during this life that you are given a certain amount of time in which to discover your greatness. Now, part of discovering that greatness is to take responsibility for your own actions and life. So people using the historically disadvantaged background are in essence saying that because of their parents, their ancestors, never left them anything or never had the opportunities to achieve anything, they now have none too. Hello? I would love to know the logic behind this thinking. because I know of many people that have grown up in the worst conditions ever in this world. But they have left legacies. They have changed thousands of lives, and they've made huge differences. What makes these people different from you? Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and Martin Luther King, to name a few. How come they made it? Could it maybe be because they didn't use lame excuses, but that they took responsibility for their own lives? Do you know, my parents were World War II children. Had it not been for the war, my grandparents would have left my dad hectares of farmland. I could be a wealthy landowner in Europe today. Who gives me the right to want to stake a claim on something that happened in another lifetime? What makes you so special to claim anything from the past? In my opinion, that's plain arrogant and lazy, if not outright rude. You would rather have an entitlement attitude and waste your whole life fighting for something that you had no input in creating, rather than discovering your own greatness in this life and really making a difference in the world. You can't be serious. In order to discover your greatness, you need to correct the inside before the outside will fall into place. Please remember that. Do you know, an unknown author once said, good things come to those who wait. Greater things come to those who get off their butts and do anything to make it happen. The way I see it, you only have three choices in life. Give up, give in, or stop making excuses and give it all you've got. Because then you will truly discover the greatness within you. I trust I've given you lots of food for thought. Thank you for spending the time for me. I'm Wolfgang Riebe. I look forward to seeing you on my next Quick Tips.